Welcome to this video about the care duties in relation to prevent, reduce and delay needs. Please note that we have other videos about this topic on the Sky website, alongside other resources and a handout with some key messages and reflective questions to support embedding the learning from the videos. Today, this video, we're going to explore who has the duty to prevent, reduce and delay needs. My name is Carmen, and today with me is Kevin. The Care Act says that the duty to prevent, reduce and delay needs is a general responsibility by the local authority. General responsibility means that the local authority and anybody within it exercising a care and support function has the legal duty to prevent, reduce and delay needs towards everybody living in the local area. It doesn't matter whether the person has eligible needs or whether the person has needs for care and support. Because if we try to prevent needs, the idea is that we support people before they develop the needs. That's why it's called general responsibilities. So the legal duty from the local authority and its members of staff when exercising a care and support function or a social care function is towards everybody living in the local area. There are a lot of ways of preventing local authorities and work together with communities, voluntary organizations and any other local groups to develop what is called universal services, to have a set of resources in the community that supports individuals in preventing, reducing and delaying needs. The provision of information and advice, what we deal with in another video, is a legal duty by the local authority, and it is a way of preventing, because the more information people have, the better informed they are and the more likely they are to prevent, reduce and delay needs. So Kevin, I know that you are a family carer. You have been a carer to your mom jointly with your dad, and you have explained how you're going to explain how supporting you and your dad will support the prevention or delay of the appearance of needs or the development of needs in your mum. Can you please expand on that?
That stage when she maybe had, she had early onset dementia, but maybe she had mild cognitive impairment where there's no support for that. He needed support, and the more support he had, the better off she would be. That was the way to prevent her decline in many ways, and certainly the decline of the household, in those things. So I think, I'd like to take away this word of, the support provided by the local authority is the only support, and I'd like to take away the belief that signposting solves much.
I'm gonna pick up on that. I think it's a very, very interesting point, and actually is enormously interesting to hear your views there, Kevin. So from the law point of view, I'm not saying when we talk about support, it doesn't necessarily mean from the local authority. What it means is following an assessment of needs and determination of eligibility. That's the criteria from the law. Prevention happens for needs that haven't been deemed as eligible. Now, I fully agree with you. That when we are preventing, we are supporting the individual in not developing a series of needs, isn't it? It is undeniable. And I think that, yes, it will actually, and it all comes down to terminology, you're so right, it will be really good at one point to see, well, it's not so much about who pays for it, okay? It's not so much about what criteria is met. It's about, and you put it really much better probably than I'm putting it now, but who is this individual or this dynamic between two or three individuals, What is happening here and what can be done for that dynamic to be in the best possible place they can be, And it may be an element of we provide some information here, it may be an element of we provide some support there, it may be an element of we prevent something there, and that's the beauty of the Care Act that says That's what should be done. Interestingly, again, you said signposting. Well, the word signposting is nowhere to be found on the Care Act. Okay, nowhere. Why? Because providing information and advice, and we will deal with this more in depth in the information and advice videos, providing information and advice is substantially different from signposting. Okay, signposting is I send you somewhere. Yeah, provide information and advice is I know you well enough and I either tell you where to go if I know you are capable of going there and you're going to do it, or I know you're not, and then I contact them for them to contact you. So that's the proportionality on the Care Act. Yeah, it depends on the circumstances of the individuals. It's not about saying here is the phone number, call, or go there and they tell you. Yeah, it is a personalized information and advice in relation to the circumstances of the individual. That's why signposting is not on the Care Act, but information and advice is, because it's a different level of support, because it is support. If somebody were to tell you, instead of saying, oh, you can call this service and they can do it for you, if instead of that, somebody will be doing something on the lines of, okay, Kevin, there is this type of services out there. Do you feel any of them will be helpful for you? Do you think you can contact them and then see if they can be helpful? Or do you want us to do that together? Or do you want me to contact them and then tell them to contact you? Or, yeah, so we explore together how would we do that thing. That's a very different scenario, isn't it?
It is, yes, it is, and it is, and that reminds me. How would you feel? How would you feel if you've requested an assessment of needs, and somebody's either told you on the phone, or maybe even told it in your front room that you are not eligible under the Care Act for an assessment of needs? I think at that point your ears would close, your mind would explode, you'd go into crisis in your own body, even if that person spent the next 20 minutes telling you all the things that could help you. So I think that, and I'm sure that people do receive that piece of information, and are just they go into crisis in that moment, basically. So and it probably is. Maybe you tell me it is required to clearly inform the person that they're not eligible. Would it be against the law to actually give all the advice and the guidance and stuff like that and say, oh, but by the way, you're not eligible under the Care Act? Is there a set procedure in which order you have to tell those facts? Because I think, especially if you've been waiting a while,
Um, I think, Kevin, that once again is down to the terminology. Yeah, because if somebody has been on a waiting list, and this, it may sound to people like it doesn't link with prevent, reduce, delay, but it does, because the example you just raised is somebody who's been on a waiting list and is going into a crisis because nothing has been done, and then what it has been done has tipped them over rather than supporting them in going forward, isn't it? So at that instance, because one of the key primary duties is prevent, reduce, delay, the thing is how that message is delivered. Yeah, and what is the context for that? So it's not about you are not eligible. If the assessment is done appropriately as a meaningful intervention, like it should be, yeah, that on itself will have been helpful. Yeah, and the message of you're not eligible wouldn't have to be delivered like that, because the person will have already received that prevent, reduce, delay, and a lot of support through the professional intervention by that point. So it is all, and again, we will explore that further in the assessment of needs videos. Yeah, but it is about how that assessment is done. It's about what that assessment means and what was the participation and the understanding of the individual that that assessment was going to mean one thing or another. Yeah, that's what. So coming back to who has the duty, because that's kind of the focus here. Is there anything else you would like to add on the duty to prevent, reduce, delay?
Yes. Yeah. So often when you work into these areas, the support group, the community around that person. It's very difficult for me to think more as the person than the carer at the moment, but I'm doing that, and it's really helpful for me to do this because as carers we have to think about how it feels for the person that we care for in these sort of circumstances, and what I see is where sometimes mistakes are made is that that we don't think about that person's community, their support group, if you want to put that in from a prevention, reduce and delay aspect. That's obviously that's very key. And for whatever reason, there's lots of reasons why, but my brother had zero to do with my mum's care and support. Yeah, in that respect, because we were not treated as a family, I suppose, and it wasn't expected to treat us as a family, I would suggest. And the dynamic between the person who's being cared for and the carer as well, and other support groups and other friendships, and the progression, I suppose, the progression of that condition, because it is a huge grieving process. I'm sure we all accept that when you lose your capabilities. Yeah, when you can no longer do this, or you can no longer, whether it be for physical health or mental health, it is a huge grieving process, and people don't always respond well to grieving. Yeah, and it can cause a lot of upset and issues between family members and communities and that. So I think what I would say is that it's always important, but to support prevention, reduction, and delay is to look at the family, the situation as a whole, to look at the environment, to look at maybe the social determinants of health. Is a bit of a technical question there, but what you see on the outside doesn't always reflect what might be actually needed. So there's a real need to have time to actually, not come with any assumptions, not come with any beliefs, not come with any position about the people you're coming to meet, and don't assume that relationship either, what's going on in that relationship, because it will not be the first time that they've had a problem, because rarely do people actually get access to the support they need the first time they have a problem. So there's water gone under the bridge already before you get to see them. But it really is about not coming with any preconceived ideas, not coming with any preconceived solutions, not coming with any preconceived what the relationship is that you're seeing in front of you, and you're doing that. So I think that's, and also recognizing that every individual that's involved has their own potential for needs assessment, has their own potential for a carer's assessment. I know many families where there's only one person gets the carer's assessment, but I know that that might be the husband, the wife, the spouse, partner, but the children are helping a lot as well. But they wouldn't dream of getting a carer's assessment, for many reasons, and we discussed that in the carer's assessment videos. But yeah, so I think it's coming without any preconceived ideas of what will be the solution for this person.
And I think that's a very good moment to close this video. And I like a lot the messages: don't have preconceived ideas, take into account the community, not only the individual, but the whole dynamic, and don't forget the potential of the individual. And I think those are absolutely fundamental for any prevent, reduce, delay, or any intervention for that matter. So thank you very much, Kevin.
Thank you.